to our channel.
Welcome back.
Here we are, special guest, Tuna. All right, I have some Am I the Asshole for you.
Okay.
This one is, am I the asshole for tipping less than the suggested amount? I went to dinner with a large group of friends last night. When the checks came out, the waitress said something about foregoing automatic gratuity because one of my friends was a regular or something. To me, it seemed like to play for better tips, which worked because everybody tipped her like 20 to 25%. Since the split of the bills were pretty small, the receipts all had suggested tips from 15, 18, and 20%. And mine ended up falling below 15%. I honestly didn't pay attention to this suggestion. My friends started roasting me, and it escalated to kind of an argument. They're saying that she deserved the tip and she was a good waitress for a group of 6. I think she didn't do anything besides just her job. Am I crazy? She didn't make our drinks or food. She just had to ask more people than the usual what good they wanted. Plus, combined, she still made a really good money off us. Am I the asshole?
Hi, why you give me questions that gonna get me canceled? Why?
Because you said you wanted it.
Okay.
You got it.
That's gonna play another cultural thing, right? Because in Brazil, waiters get their livable wage plus 10%.
Yeah, like every time you go to a
Yeah, you
restaurant,
go
like
out
you're
and then they charge you 10% on the check. It's kind of automatic. And then if you want to remove, you ask to the manager to
That
remove,
would be an
but
asshole move.
that would be an asshole move. But it's 10% and people are getting, usually it's like 1.5 to, sometimes depending on the restaurant, they could pay even like 3
minimum wages?
yeah, minimum wage for a very good waiter, especially if it's like a 5-star restaurant. But I think United States have a big problem with tipping culture, that restaurant owners pass down the employee costs to
the patrons.
to the patrons. In my opinion, would be ideal to give a livable wage for the employee and add 10% tip for good service. I think that, like, following everybody else. If you go to Europe, they, especially in the more tourist places, they add 10% on the tab, and you just pay, and that's
And
it.
even here, when I was a kid, I remember my dad would say like, "Oh, I'm a great tipper. I give 15%." When most people give 12 or 10%. So that was actually the norm back in the day. I sound like grandma.
But that being said, I do think here in the United States, I know for a fact that waiters and like restaurant workers earn a very small salary compared to other countries relatively to their living expenses. So yes, you think you should tip at least, my opinion, the way I do, I tip at least minimum is 18%, and then go up from there depending on the service. If I get great service, I tip more than that.
Yeah, like last night you tipped 24%.
Yeah, 24% for a check.
But it was really good service.
It was very good service. So, like I said, that's because in the United States, I know, because I've been in the other side, I worked for tips before, and I know how important tips are to, for these type of workers to make their ends meet. But I would like to see restaurant owners paying a livable wage for their workers and cutting down on the suggested tip, so to become a true reward for good service.
Yeah, because I see another thing is like, okay, let's say that you go to a restaurant and you order a normal, an appetizer and a soft drink, right? The same restaurant, maybe your bill comes out to 30. Another person orders a big steak, it's $80 and a drink is $100. Same service, same restaurant, the tip's gonna be much bigger just because of the food items.
But
So I think, like you said, I think it should be better if they paid them a livable wage and then the extra is a tip.
yeah,
What a
I'm
tip
not
is.
too worried about when I tip. I'm not too worried about like okay how much the bill comes to it because I tip by percentage, not by the amount per se. So like I don't care if I spend 100 or if I spend 30. If the service is mediocre, I'm gonna tip the 18% regardless if it's 30 or 100.
Like the mediocre
But-
service usually here in Miami.
Yeah, and that's my problem nowadays that a lot of establishments are not training their employees properly and we get very mixed services. Like a lot of times they're not good and they still expecting 25%. Like we see here in Miami, it's very common to see like checks coming with suggested minimum tip at 20% and seeing like 30%.
And you also see like already the gratuities included, which is 18%. They do that and then they expect another tip is like.
Yeah, then you know, just let us give the tip as reward for good service.
Even if the food comes out much more expensive because they have to give and take, right? Yeah, I would.
The food comes more expensive regardless, especially nowadays. Every time you go out to a restaurant, you know, it's getting more and more expensive. So might as well just pay these workers better, and you will give them more stability and more predictability for their lives, and
then the economy moves also.
Yeah, it's not like okay, I just made $40 tonight and tips, like on a Monday, and then $2 an hour, $3 an hour, or you know, as a salary.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No, pay people $20 an hour or whatever, 15, 20 more, and then include it, let 10% on the check. That will be my take on that.
What about your take on tipping for establishments that are really not serving you? You have to go to the counter and you have to wait and then they give you the food, kind of like McDonald's, but now if you see, they're asking for a tip, like Starbucks and Shake Shack.
I mean,
I put 0.
yeah, no, I act like this is a takeout. Like I might give 10% because that's usually what I give.
You look so sad. You're like,
no, like because what bothers me is this thing that everywhere you go nowadays.
it's like you deserve a tip. You deserve a tip. A trophy for participation.
You know, pay people more.
But these establishments, they pay over the minimum wage. They actually are getting paid. It's not like they're getting paid $2. They're getting paid, I don't know, I think they start at 15, 24. Why are they asking the patrons to give more?
Yeah, I just do my takeout rate and that's it.
Fair enough.
That's usually how I do.
So you agree that we should be paying?
Yeah, I think
tip.
you should be paying more people.
No, that's not what I asked. Do you think we should be paying tip for counter food?
I mean, if he's there, he's there. You know, like I'm not gonna look at the person's face and like no tip, and then the person thinks I'm an asshole because I'm not. I don't want to be the asshole.
So I'm the asshole here because I put no.
Yeah. You know, it's easier for a woman to get away with those things than to a guy.
So I had a student. She said that she went to grab a soda. The soda was $2.50. She handed it $10. The lady looked around, gave her the soda, and she's like, oh, tip. So a $10 bill for a soda that was $2.50. She
Yeah,
deserved
she's expecting too much tip.
too much tip. Yeah, of course. Poor girl didn't know English. Was in South Beach, a tourist.
Yeah, but she wasn't a tourist trap, so
Yeah.
that's always gonna be an issue when you go to South Beach, especially if you go to Ocean World.
So Meredith, I'm the asshole here, according to you. And restaurants, pay your workers more.
Exactly. Payback.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Thank you.